by the charter and ordinances.
Drafted by his city council peers almost 9 months ago to lead Knoxville as the city's interim mayor.
July 23rd, 1969. Why does that date stand out?
Well, that's the day that I actually got drafted, so that's a day that I will not forget.
We sat down with Mayor Daniel T. Brown to talk about the day the Army called him to duty in the late 60s to fight in the Vietnam War.
You're wondering about, will you wind up losing your life, or will you actually have to go overseas?
At age 23 and thin as a ruler, after training, the Army did order the Knoxville native overseas to South Vietnam.
And I landed on New Year's Eve of 1969, so I heard a lot of shooting going on, and I said, oh man, we're getting right in the middle of something, but it was just people celebrating the new year coming in.
Brown's duties as a supply man kept him off the front lines and in relative comfort on a big air base.
We would get rocket and mortar attacks from time to time, and we would have to go outside of what we call our hooch, that was our living quarters, and sit out in the bunkers. We did have to go out and pull guard duty ever so often. I went to elementary school here myself.
Now, the city's first black mayor in its 220-year history, Brown recalls the racial turmoil of the late 60s and how that influenced his feelings about his military service.
And you're overseas and you may lose your life, and you have high unemployment back home. People are being discriminated against on various levels, so there is some conflict there.
Looking back at Brown's family tree reveals a rich history of service.
He kind of, I think, fibbed about his age and joined at about 16 years old.
His stepfather volunteered to serve back in the 1920s.
But the 10th Cavalry is sort of...
And his great-uncle served in the famed Buffalo Soldiers, a black cavalry regiment dating back to the mid-1800s.
I've gotten grayer, balder, and older.
Flipping through his own military scrapbook, Mayor Brown points out the names of fellow soldiers who scratched in their hometowns and left short messages.
James Collins, Zachary, Louisiana. He says, power comes out of the barrel of a gun.
He lost touch with those men, and his feelings about the Vietnam War remain mixed.
It was an interesting time, and that's an understatement.
But Mayor Brown credits the military with helping him get a higher education through the GI Bill and instilling qualities, he says, still shape his life today.
The discipline and the regimentation and the orderliness of it is something that can go with you for the rest of your life.